Hello crafty friends and welcome to another Mojo May episode. Today, as usual, we're going to make a card, but we're also going to look at another way of getting our creative juices flowing, of getting our mojo back up and running if it's gone to sleep for a bit. Creative block happens to everyone. Sometimes we've got all the gear but no ideas about what we can do. And today's Mojo May idea is again to play by letting go of expectation, by not worrying about the outcome, by just having fun when we choose our supplies and techniques and tools. We can get our mojo back again. And today's fun idea is to use some dice to choose those tools, techniques, supplies, colours, patterns, etc. so that we don't have to. So what I've got here is a selection of dice. These were my prototypes. I made them out of card. This one I printed on the names of some patterns. So I've got damask, chevron, tiled, spots, striped, checked. I think that's it. And then I chose some of my favourite ink colours and took a square stamp and stamped on each side of the dice with a colour. So I can choose, using this dice, both pattern and colour. So say I roll it once and it is this green colour, roll it again and I can choose a tiled pattern. So I could use a green tiled pattern. This one I stamped on it with different colours again, but different patterns or icons. So I can roll it. Yellow is my colour choice and flowers are my icons. I've got flowers, butterflies, stars, cameras, hearts, balloons. I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah. So those were my prototypes. They were quite small and quite fiddly to put together. So I then made some slightly larger ones. This one I used colour and stencils to add the things to my dice. So I can roll it, and this is, I think that might be speckled egg. It's a kind of pale teal. And then I've got a scripty stencil. So I've got a light teal and a script stencil. So I could use those on a card. And I did hearts, damask, hexagons, dashes, text, circles. With this dice, I put some die cuts on each side. And I made those using dies that I don't use often enough. So I went through my stash, pulled out dies, like I say, that I don't use often enough, die cut them using different colour paper. And again, I can choose a colour. So that's yellow, or yellow or orange, and bows. So I could do yellow or orange bows. And then I thought, what if I can find some blank ready-made dice? And I found this set of 5 wooden dice on Amazon. On this one, I used archival ink, so permanent ink, to stamp on each side. So again, I can choose colour and I can choose stamp type. Roll it once and I've got brown. Roll it again and I've got a seahorse, so I could use my sea creature stamps. I've got candles, butterflies, coffee beans, feathers, seahorse and flowers. With this one, I just did black ink. This is really just for choosing a pattern or a stamp. So striped pattern or striped stamp, could be striped paper. And there we've got crosses. With this one, I took some sticker paper, blended on some Distress Oxide, punched those out with a 1-inch circle punch and then stuck them on there. I could also, if I wanted, add a stamped image on top to give me another level of choice. And we've got 2 spare ones for when I think of something else to put on them. If you want to make your own dice rather than buying them, I've created this handout for you. There are 2 blank dice nets and I'll show you how to construct them. Very straightforward. So all you do is cut around the outside. So I've cut around the outside of that and now I'm going to score some lines. You can use a bone folder. I've got a little stylus here. And all I'm doing is lining up the black lines with the lines on my scoreboard. Just makes everything a little bit easier to fold, and just run the stylus down there, and I'm going to do that on all the internal lines. Then you can fold the flaps and the sides. So I definitely recommend adding your information to the faces of your die before constructing it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've got some stamps here, different kind of textures, and I'm going to mask off the edges of each square. and stamp using some dye inks. The stamped impressions don't have to be perfect, it's just about getting some colour and pattern on my dice. So I can move my mask now to mask off this other square here and use a different colour and stamp combination. I've got some stitching here. It's got a nice grid going on this one in a green ink. And then we've got a blue green and a linen textured stamp. You can use whatever stamp patterns you like. You can use whatever colours you like. So now I've got a coffee ring or a paint ring type stamp and a blue, and this is a tree ring wood grainy type stamp with a violet ink. When it comes to getting your mojo back, you might want to use your favourite colours and patterns on these things, or you might want to use things that you don't use very often to give you kind of an excuse or a reason to use them and maybe fall in love with them. Now on top of these, I'm going to use a black pen to write a technique. So we can start with painting, smushing, spraying, stenciling, heat embossing and dry embossing. If you've still got room, you could add some mediums, pattern paper, washi tape, powder, fabric, glitter, paste. And then when you've got all your favourites or what have you on here, you can stick it together. You could use glue or you could use tape. And I'll just put some double-sided tape on the flaps here. I've taken off the release paper and now I can stick the flaps to the appropriate parts and get myself a pretty decent dice. Give all the little sides a good press and there you go. And you can roll it once and say use the colour, which is the blue green. Roll it again, pick the pattern, which is the grid. Roll it again, choose the technique, which is dry embossing, and then roll it again and choose the medium, which is washi tape. So this gives you something to work with. So I'm going to go back to this dice here and add some black stamping on each colour. So I've got some crosses, some circles, a squiggle, some dashes, some longer dashes. I'll just get my stitch stamp again and add some stitching. I've got some acrylic markers here, so I could go straight on to my wooden cube and draw some little icons. So I've got a green heart, could have an orange butterfly, pink star, a light orange or yellow flower, could have some pink chevrons, do love a chevron, and a blue triangle, I think. So there we go, some dice that we can use to choose things to work with. So obviously you don't have to have this many dice. I've just made all these to demonstrate the kind of things you can do. You might only want to make one or two. I think I'm going to pick these two to play with right now. So we will roll this one for a colour. That is a blue for a technique, heat embossing and a medium glitter. And then we'll roll this one for maybe a second colour, purple and a die cut, mushrooms. Right, let's make a card. Oh, I didn't pick a pattern. Linen. Right, I've got some mushroom dies here and my purple and blue Catherine Pooler inks, and I'm going to blend these onto some mixed media paper. So that's more than enough of that. I'm going to give it a bit of a blast with my hairdryer because I want to heat emboss on top of it. Go over it with talcum powder to remove any moisture, static or grease that might attract embossing powder. And now I will stamp on it with the linen texture stamp and embossing ink. This paper's slightly textured, so I'm not going to get a perfect impression, but that's okay. So I can tick off my blue, my purple, my linen, and I've got this Mojo embossing powder, which is glittery. Not sure what it's called. Glitter embossing powder, shimmering pearl. So I can tick off my glitter and my heat embossing. I'm going to heat this from underneath so that the glitter doesn't blow away. So hopefully you can see that's got a lovely shimmery glittery pattern on it now. Now I'm going to cut out a bunch of the caps of my mushrooms / toadstools. I've got my purple caps and the bits that they need to sit on. So I'll put a little bit of glue on these wet bits that I've cut out, and then I don't want too much, and then pop the little caps on top. I think I'm going to stick the caps down onto this card. Just going to put them along the bottom. So I've got those stuck on there like that, and I'm going to take another bit of hammered textured white card and tear along the bottom to get a nice rough edge. And I'm thinking of adding it like that, as if it was grass. And then I'm going to trim off the overhang. Right, I've cut out some stems or stalks, and I'm going to add these, tucking them in the appropriate places. I've got my mushrooms and their stalks on, and now I've got a congratulations on a stitched rectangle piece of card. That's from my box where I keep my sentiments, and I'm going to add that over there. I'm also going to add a few Mojo glitter drops in White Blizzard. Just dot them around for a bit of extra whimsy and energy and a feeling of movement. Those will dry clear, but you'll still see the glitter, and we can tick off mushrooms. So there you go. There's a card made using the ideas I got from the dice that I made. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and it's given you some ideas of ways to get your mojo back, or even just an idea for a card. If it has, then please do let me know in the comments. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll see you back here very soon for another Mojo May video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.